Hello, and thanks for being with us on this very special show. We're really excited to have with us today Professor Isaac Calderon Adizes, who is an expert in organizational therapy. And with us is Dr. Michael Laitman. Hello. Hello, everyone. And also is joining us Michael Sanilevich, the CEO for the Bnei Baruch Education and Research Institute, and Boris Belatsarkovsky, responsible for our dissemination in the Russian-speaking realm. And first question to you, Professor Adizes. We saw in your clips that you speak very similarly to the wisdom of Kabbalah. You're saying that love is the solution for every organization, for every relationship. Can you explain? I came to this through change. Change causes disintegration. Why? Because everything is a system. Everything that you see is a system. You're a system with different subsystems, blood, nervous system, and so on. Also as an organization, it's a system with subsystems like finances, marketing, and so on and so forth. A country is a system with subsystems. And when there's change, the subsystems, they change at a different pace. There are those that change more quickly, and there are those that change more slowly. For example, marketing changes very quickly. Accounting changes very slowly. And this causes disintegration. And disintegration is expressed in what we call problems. What is a problem, actually? The expression of disintegration. If we're ill, there's disintegration in our body, and what we get is a disease. And it's inevitable. Let's put it this way. Disintegration is inevitable, and therefore problems are inevitable. And the quicker the change, the more rapid the problems. And today we'll live in a world of immeasurable stress because of the pace of change. And I asked myself, okay, what do we do? How do we fight this? Of course, all the problems, if they come from disintegration, then the solution is integration. Now, what is integration? The biggest integration. Love. A mom can feel her child 1,000 miles from where she is. How is that? How can she feel him? Because of love. Meaning the goal is love. And then suddenly I started thinking, wait a second, what is God then? It's love. Meaning, our entire war in life, the purpose of life is to come closer to God. And how do you come closer to God? Through love. And then I came to something that I don't know what you're going to say about this, but it's not only God sitting up there, but also the devil. What is the devil? Disintegration. And those that serve the devil are disintegrating, and those that serve God, they serve love. Now, how do you build love? That's the question. And then I came to another conclusion. I was actually asked in Moscow, what is the future of management? Where is it headed? World management. Where's it going? I started thinking. I said, let's take it from the beginning. We were monkeys, I don't know. We picked fruits off trees. Then we grew wheat. Then the industrial society. There is a common denominator, muscles. The strongest was the head of the tribe. Industry is advancing. We started planning different systems. The brain started working. Today, we're in a stage of working with the brain. Why? Information. For example, Uber, the biggest taxi company in the world. They don't have a single taxi. What do they have? Information. What does Amazon have? Information. Information, using the brain. That's also in danger because now we're starting to talk about artificial intelligence that will replace the head. So where's the future? The heart. This is something that you can't replace. I said, future management is for those that know how to love. This is where it begins. And I also gave a lecture in front of 5,000 doctors, the Academy for Anti-Aging. How to slow down aging. Doctors talked about chemistry and vitamins and who knows what. I told them, look at a person that loves. He's young. His eyes are lit up. He's full of energy. Look at a person that hates. He grows old. You want to be younger? Love. Love your work, love each other, love another as yourself. The more love, the more the organization will last, a person will live longer, a country will live longer, and this is what I teach. Now the next question is, how do you do it? But the intention is clear, but how do you do it? And I developed an entire method that I'm working on for 50 years now, and it's still developing. This is why I call it organizational therapy. Why? Because organizations are ill, because they change and they have problems, and there are different wars inside and with other bodies. Conflicts are part of reality due to change. It's something that you can't stop. All those that try to stop change can't. No one can. No one in history could do it. So, it's not about how to stop conflicts, meaning so there won't be any conflicts, but how to channel it so that a conflict will be constructive and not destructive. How do you do it? It's not enough to say, let's love each other. It won't work. We love each other in our marriage and still there's divorce. It's not enough to want. What do we do in practical life? And I developed organizational therapy that takes an organization. I also wrote a book now about family life too. I work with governments, and I'm not succeeding there at all because with politicians it's a completely different story. I have a bit of success, but not the same success that we have in organizations. And I developed a system of how do you do, what do you do. It's really with protocol and manual and everything. How do you take an organization that can agree on whether it's day or night? They're about to kill each other on their meetings, and after they use my methodology, there are conflicts, but they're constructive. They learn from each other, they listen to each other, appreciate each other. And the bottom line is, you need a culture of appreciation and mutual trust. If you don't have that, the conflicts are destructive. Now, the next stage is what is appreciation and what is trust. You know, in Hollywood, when someone tells you, believe me, it means that he's putting his hand in your pocket. So the question is, what do you mean when you say believe me? What is trust? To have confidence in someone, to respect. And this is something that Immanuel Kant said. He says, respect is when you recognize the other person's unique privilege to think his own thoughts. Meaning, you're not telling him, think the way I think. What are you, an idiot? What are you talking about? No, I disagree with you, but I appreciate what you say. How do you do that? I always go to the next stage. I always think about how do you realize it so that it won't remain as a theory. So I came to the conclusion that I appreciate people that I learn from their disagreement. You don't learn from people that agree with you all the time. What do you get out of it? You learn from those that disagree with you. The question is, how does that person disagree with you? If he starts being like a typical Israeli, what are you, an idiot? What are you talking about? From him you won't learn. In English, I say, how to disagree without being disagreeable. And this is why I hate Israeli television. Everyone's yelling all the time, not listening to each other. It's completely destructive. So I developed my protocols about how to have a meeting. That it's forbidden to talk at once. Those that, if someone starts talking together with you, you pay a fine. In governments, the same. You sit and listen. I developed techniques of how to sit and listen, because you can't talk and listen together. First of all, shut up. Then you'll talk. There's a way to do things. So respect is when you are willing to learn from others, from someone else that disagrees with you. To the contrary, you appreciate that person disagreeing with you, because you're saying, wait a moment, why do you disagree? What can I learn from you? Because if you disagree, it means that you know something that I don't. It doesn't mean that I have to agree with you, but let's see, what can I learn from you? So to create an atmosphere of learning, an organization that learns changes. An organization that changes makes it. If they don't change, they don't make it. Now trust, what is that? I searched for many years. What is trust? What does trust mean? What does it mean that I have faith in someone? What do I trust in? What do I have faith in? And I discovered this actually in Turkey. By the way, I don't learn from books. I learn from field work. I listen all the time. I look at all the time. What works, what doesn't, why. For 50 years now, I lecture and I say, look, what is change? Life. What is life? A good, constructive life is give and take. In Turkey, someone tells me, look, we don't say that. It's not give and take. In Turkey, we say take and give. That's where it hit me. No trust. The moment you say take and give, there's no trust. When you say give and take, I trust you that you'll give back to me. There's trust. It means that we have a common interest. We're together. In a relationship, in marriage, I concede because next time you'll concede and things will balance out. When is it destructive? When I don't believe that you'll give something back and you'll disappear. Meaning, in order to have a healthy organization, a healthy country, and I really suffer from seeing what's going on here in Israel, there has to be a culture of common interests. We're in the same boat, guys. Let's learn from each other. Let's learn from our disagreement, which is something good actually, because we can learn from each other. And let's see, how can we learn? Now the question is, how do you create this atmosphere? How do you create this culture? This is the bottom line. So I say, if there's no appreciation and mutual trust and respect, there will be no love. You can't love someone that you don't trust, that you can't learn from. He disagrees with you, and you see that there's no depth here. What am I going to do? What am I going to do with this person now? So you need respect. Trust and respect. Extreme trust and respect leads to love, leads to integration, that leads to love. These are all stages of growth, I'd say. Now, how do you do that? I discovered the formula, and this is what we do in companies around the world, and already 52 countries, that if you do these 4 things correctly, in the right sequence, therapy is a work plan. It's not lectures, it's not talk, but it's hard work. It's like lifting weights. Actually, when you lift weights, you start with very low trust and respect and do little things slowly. Afterwards, more and more and more. Every time you go deeper, lift heavier weight. Because always, when there are conflicts, such challenges, the challenge is about trust and mutual respect. Can I really trust you? Can I really learn from you? And every time you have to give them a more difficult task, it's a plan that increases people's ability to deal with lack of trust and appreciation. That, by the way, I think in Judaism, Dr. Laitman, I don't know if you agree with me, but we really suffer from it. Lack of appreciation and mutual trust. We're experts in it. Yeah, it's running in our blood, I think. And to change that, it's really... And this is why our country looks what it looks like, and we have unfounded hatred. And I did it in Israel with Elbit. Every month I went there, I talked to them, I worked almost for nothing. And Elbit, they really grew. They used my methodology and they don't tell anyone. It's their professional secret. Unfortunately, I thought that they'll disseminate it. Instead of disseminating it, they are keeping it as their professional secret. You need 4 things in order for this culture to take place. Vision, a common vision. We have a common vision. If you have one vision and he has another one, it's over. You have to have a common vision. An organizational structure that encourages complementary teams. Teams that complete and supplement each other. And the symbol of my methodology was a hand. If you look at all the churches, at all the images, well, we see they stand like this. The saints. I'm asking, what is this? And he says, look, it means be different, but together. And in the Middle East, when you curse someone, you like stick it in his face this way. What does it mean? Be different and not together. And this is what happens here in Israel. My goal is how to bring everyone together. Now, how do you do it? A common vision. We disagree about how to reach that vision, but we have a common vision. If we don't agree on that, then there's nothing. We have to agree on something. We agree that we have a common goal. Okay. Not a goal. A goal is too close, but a vision. An organizational structure that allows complementary team. And this is the essence of my methodology. I'm a structuralist. I look at organizational structures, and it's like you look at a person and, hey, he can't play basketball with a broken leg. His leg's broken. I look at a structure and I say, that doesn't work. For example, I did an analysis of the IDF, and I said, the IDF is built incorrectly. The organization is growing old, and it'll have its costs, and it did. And the next disaster will be even greater, and so on and so forth, because the structure, the organizational structure is incorrect. And I'm looking for a structure that allows change. When the organizational structure is incorrect, usually it's also because of incorrect philosophies. It's let's be together, but let's all be the same. It's called communism, socialism, fascism. We're all together, but we're all the same. Look what happened. Paralysis. How do you do that? When change causes this. That's the problem. So first of all, correct organizational structure. The right people with the right styles and the right structure with a common vision. We're different, but we have a common goal. And now, factor number 3, the process of how do we talk to each other in a civilized fashion. How do we listen to each other? How do we decide together? Because everyone advances at a different pace. Trump, for example, He shoots from the hip, and he already decided. And the bureaucrats, it takes them at least 2 weeks to understand what are we talking about here. So I built a methodology that helps us to advance together in taking decisions. So you have a common vision, a differential structure, a process of decision-making that allows people to work together. For people that aren't afraid of confrontation, people with depth, if you have all these four, which takes a year to develop, it's like courses. Every month you come to the organization and work with them for 2 days. And the trust and mutual appreciation grows, and you don't see conflicts, you see challenges. Let's take care of the problem. And the organization really begins to advance. So this is how I got there. Dr. Laitman, to me it seems very rational and really realistic and worthy of being realized, implemented. Just like what you finished with, 2 days per month that you activate them, that you talk to an organization and they continue working for a month, they realize it throughout the month. They have their difficulties. We're in contact with them. What's important is the CEO. If he is not committed to the process, it won't work. We work with organizations where the CEO says, we'll do it, we'll make the change, we're committed. But he's responsible for himself. Can he be responsible for his entire organization? Look, it's not easy. There's resistance. People are afraid of change. It's a waste of time. I have this and that to do. But I'd say that by large, it works. Why? Because every time they start saying, we don't have time, I say, great, remain with the problem. They say, we can't. So work. Yeah, but we can't. So remain with the problem. I'm not telling you to do anything. You want to solve the problem. Take care of it. So this is what motivates them. It's not my lecture or my demands, but the problem that they're trying to solve. They have a problem. They don't know how to solve it. Now they're saying, it's hard. I'm saying, yeah, right. Not all medicine is tasty. And lifting weights also isn't that easy. You want something easy? Stay sick. What do you want me to tell you? So usually it works. We have an organization. Let's learn on ourselves. It's good. With many, many thousands of people around the world. North America, South America, Russia, Europe, Israel, even Arabian countries, Africa, Australia. Many thousands of people. Some of them are arranged in small groups. 10, 20 sometimes. Sometimes there are 2 or 3 in a city or in a country. We're all connected by internet. We can be connected on a daily basis. We are connected on a daily basis, but whoever wants can join, meaning joins our broadcast, and we also see them, and this is how we advance. Our question is simple. How do we, how can we, all of these people, some of which are connected in certain groups, we call them tens. How can we bring these people to a state where they will truly feel themselves as one? As one. Closer than a family. Above all differences, frictions, everything, that they'll really feel that they're as one, connected as one. And it'll be expressed how? Suppose they're all united as one. It's expressed how? It's expressed in them feeling. Again, it's only a feeling. They feel that they have a special kind of love toward one another, where everyone is important to me as everyone else is. And it's not happening today. No. But everyone knows that this is our goal. Okay? Look, you want my answer, right? I think it's a challenge. Yeah, it's an interesting question. Descartes said, I think, therefore I am. Incorrect. What you think is not what's important. What's important is, what do you do? You want for them to feel as one, they have to start doing something for them to be as one, for them to do something together. Don't say, love another as yourself. It shouldn't just be lip service. What did you do for this yesterday? What are you doing? What are you advising us to do? I'd say that all these tens should take a task upon themselves of what are you going to do for each other and for the community? What are you doing? Because truth is in action, not in talking. I heard too many people talk and teach and teach and talk. What do you do? Doing. It's about doing, because when you do, you get a feedback. And this is what I like in Buddhists that say, thank you for allowing me to serve you. I look at him, what do you mean? You enjoy serving me? He says, yes, because I nourish myself. It's very interesting. We talked about integration, right? Look at the human body. Every part in the body doesn't work for itself. The heart doesn't work for itself. Everything works for the other parts of the body. The only part that doesn't work for anyone is called cancer. When you serve others, you serve life. When you work for yourself, you serve death. So I'm telling an organization, are you cancer or do you contribute? What did you do for the world? Correcting the world, it's not just talk. What did you do? Love another as yourself. Choose someone. Do something. Charity, it's not just a word. You serve something. You teach others. Tell me, what did you do? And if there is doing, and each such group will share with the other groups, what are they doing for each other, for the community, and so on. This is where I think they can achieve unity in the doing, because if there's no doing, it's not enough just to study. We studied great, and what happened? It's impotency. You have to do. Look, you have a vision. You have the organization. The structure exists. Internet, communication. There's no doing. Dissemination, but dissemination can't be doing, disseminating that goal. For me, it's not enough, because you teach and teach and teach. Do what you learned. By the way, it doesn't have to be towards someone else. What do you do about yourself? You studied, but what did you do with it? But if you remain only with yourself, it's not enough either. Okay, you start by doing towards yourself, by loving yourself. Start with loving another as yourself, But if you're left only with yourself, you become a cancerous cell. You don't do anything. You only take. What did you give? You gave in doing. Doing meaning what? In serving the needs of others. The heart serves the needs of the lungs, of the brain, of the everything. Serves their needs. I serve others. What can I do that you need? How can I contribute to you? This is where it's all going. Just to teach you, it's correct if you only want to learn. But if you have other needs, here we teach, we disseminate this knowledge, materials. We try to show mankind what is the correct future. You're still right here. We try to become members of a kibbutz. We try to work together on different things. Look, what I mean is, choose an orphanage. Choose an orphanage. We're talking about charity. For me, charity, it's not about money. There are too many people that, they're righteous. They gave money and went home. It's not about that. I met Mother Teresa. By the way, I was born 100 meters from her, in the same city. And she said, doing isn't about the money. It's about the energy that you give. It's the energy that you give in serving others, in serving the needs of others, and helping others. Giving is from the heart, not from the mind. From the heart. I am afraid that after 2,000 years of disasters, pogroms, and whatnot, that we closed our hearts. Everything went to the head. The time has come to open our heart. This is why we're not solving our problems with the Arabs. Our heart isn't open. We're justifying everything intellectually. Startups, whatever. But the heart's not working. What I do is for us to feel together, is to open people's hearts. Open your heart by doing. Do whatever you choose. Choose something. I live in Santa Barbara, California. Very interesting. Every Saturday I see people. Professors. Someone is even a Nobel Prize winner in chemistry. They're walking around cleaning the streets. They're not waiting for the municipality to do it. The street's clean because they're not saying it's someone's street, it's our street. Choose whatever, doesn't matter what. Do something for the community, for others. This is where the correction begins. Correcting the world is about doing, not about talking. And if everyone will share and say what they do, it'll lift everyone. Because when you do something, I work really hard. I'm 82 years old. I fly around the world. I'm asked, you're making lots of money. All the anti-Semites, they all the time say, you're doing it for the money. Where do you get the upliftment from? When someone tells you, you've changed my life. You helped me solve a problem. You helped me find the goal. Suddenly you say, all the money, you know what? What is money? The exaltedness is in the doing, not in the money. This is what I think.
Tell me what you do and I will tell you what you are.
Tell me what you do and I'll tell you what you are. Well, what are you saying? Michael Sanilevich, you support this approach. Yeah, in terms of doing, we do a lot for the public. Maybe we don't help orphanages, But what we work on is uniting the nation, uniting the people. But we don't only talk about it, we bring it to the awareness of the people, but we also create circles, discussion circles. When the riots began, tens of thousands of people sat in circles because, first of all, a person has to understand what's the problem, that he has an ego, that it causes conflicts. We help a person understand what his nature is, what is the reason for all the problems and troubles. After the awareness comes, and how to bring a person to the awareness, it's lectures, it's taking him through an emotional process. What is the method to open the heart? I agree. The heart is deaf. It's also the same in the wisdom of Kabbalah, but what's the method for opening the heart? A person has a deaf heart. In a year, how will it start opening up? First of all, he has to understand what the problem is. You're saying something very interesting. I am a Holocaust survivor. All the people I loved were burned in Treblinka. And I shut my heart. 75 years, closed heart. I said, there's no such thing as love. There's only commitment. Don't talk to me about love. I was afraid of the word love. I was afraid to death. I didn't even get married because of love. I got married because I wanted children. But I was suffering as a result. It was something that I was really missing. I found a guru in the Himalaya. He said something very interesting. And this changed a lot for me. This is one of the things that opened my heart. A method of how to open the heart is what I'm asking about. He opened my heart. Afterwards, I continued searching and I came to other things, but this made the opening. He says, a person's goal is to come closer to God through love. What stops love is expectations. When you have expectations, then I already expect for you to be something else. Why aren't you like this? Why aren't you like that? Don't expect. Allow people to be what they are.
No expectations.
No expectations. I said, but how can you live without expectations? I have a desire, I want to achieve things. He said, not that either. Once you say you want something, it means that you're lacking something. If you're lacking something, you're edgy, your heart's closed. It's called to be, just be. And I have to shut my mind in order to open the heart. You can't be with your head full and your heart open. Doesn't work. You have to shut the head, say quiet. And it's only the heart opens. Our trouble is that the head's working full steam ahead. Judaism is based on that, the Talmud, you disagree with everyone. If you agree with someone, it's as if you're dead. It's forbidden to agree. This Talmudic philosophization. By the way, I reveal third, fourth, fifth generations that used to be Jewish. I asked them, are you Jewish? He said, yeah, my grandfather's was. How do you know? He can't agree with me. He can't. It's against his... He'll commit suicide if he'll agree with me. That's where the problem is. Stop thinking. A bit meditation helps. Stop thinking. Suddenly the heart opens up. Boris, I want to ask you, you as the manager of the Russian-speaking language in our organization, you see disagreements all day long. How do you deal with it? First of all, talk. You have to sit, talk. There's no other way about it. You have to bring people to listen to each other. You need a certain kind of protocol. agreement, concession, not to argue, it doesn't bring to anything, and many other things. But one of the things is that we can't calm our desire down. By turning off my mind and wanting to open my heart, it can solve the problem for today. But tomorrow, the desire pops up again, and I want something, and again and again. From what we learn, it's part of the evolutional process. You can't stop wanting, and then in the organization too. We can reach some kind of agreement that works for half a year, but then people, they develop, they want something else. The vision didn't change, but people developed, and everything starts anew. You can't stop the evolvement of the desire. When my children were small, I don't know, a few months old, my elder child, he's sitting tied to his baby chair, and he starts yelling in English, "Mine." Where does this yearning for property come from? Not yours. He's yelling, "It's mine, mine." Okay. Afterwards, the second child, the same. I lecture all around the world, and I ask, children all over the world yell "mine" in their own language? Yeah. So it's not only my kids. There's a phenomenon here. We perceive the world from three different directions. The one is, what's happening in reality? What we want, that's something else. And the way things should be is something different too. Is, want, should. This is where the inner conflicts come from. What I want doesn't happen. What happens isn't what's supposed to happen. What's supposed to happen, I don't want it. It consumes me. When these three come together, it's called mine. Why? Because when you're in love with someone, you say, "You're mine." It's not your property or anything. So what are you saying here? What you are, what you should be, and what I want you to be are one and the same. So happiness, super, no conflicts. It's all perfect. But it doesn't happen in life.
Don't hold your breath,
So-called don't hold your breath. So how do you solve the problem, the conflict? Don't start with what you want. This is the problem here in Israel. We want for the Arabs to be like this. The Arabs say, no, we want for you to be like that. Start with what you want, and that's where you'll stay. Start with reality. What do you have? From there you say, okay, if this reality, then in light of this reality, what do I want? In light of this reality, what do I want? So you won't be a fanatic or anything. Now, can I allow myself what I want? The sequence is very important. The bureaucrats start with the should. Doesn't matter what you want, this is how it should be. All the fanatics in all religions start with the should. Doesn't matter what you want, doesn't matter what's going on. This is how you should have to do it, not right, not left. This is how it should be. The ideological fanatics, they start with the want. And I say, wait a moment. We start with the is. With what reality is. In light of reality, what do you want? Can you allow yourself what you want? Now I have a solution. Meaning, now this is also something very interesting. I didn't say close your mind for the rest of your life. You're not mentally challenged. No brain, only heart. I'm saying start with the heart, how you feel. Do you really like this? Yes. Okay, now think. Should you do it or not? Because maybe what you want is impossible. You stop thinking. Do you still want it? Heart, mind, heart. This is my method. To make decisions. Not only to want, not only should, but in a certain sequence of how do you reach the correct solution. Similar to this, we developed a method that Dr. Laitman developed, and we implemented as to how to make decisions. I think it's similar to what you talked about. It's called workshop or circle. We're sitting around a round table. Everyone expresses their opinion and their rules. It means that you don't rule anyone out. It doesn't mean that you have the solution or he has the solution, but the solution comes from discussing things together, that you only add to each other. When someone talks, no one else disturbs, giving him the ability to express himself, but we try to do it short, not to take all the attention to yourself. And we see that it works also in decision making, also in the family. I personally do it with my children, and they're already grown-ups once a week. Excellent. This is the right direction. One of my books is about how to do it, because look, every person has a different style, advances at a different pace in taking decisions. There are those that are very quick. As an anecdote, I say that it's a person that you can't tell him a joke. You start your joke, it reminds him of his joke, he stops you, tells his joke, doesn't allow you to finish your joke. This is what happens with people, they interrupt each other. I didn't finish saying what I think, he already disagrees. They're quick. Trump is an example. An example. There are those that are very slow. They think and think and think. Those that you tell them a joke on Friday, they laugh in church on Sunday. They're very slow. There are those that can't stand making decisions. Shoot first, ask questions later. Don't waste my time. Let's do, and then hear. First, let's do. That's character number 3. And there's the politician that says, wait a second, guys, let's listen to each other. But we can't reach a decision. He's looking for the harmony. Now, you sit them together, immediately it causes conflicts. He gets irritated, it's a waste of time, let's go. But we didn't talk about the problem. But he says, I already have the solution, what are you wasting your time on? So I developed a method of how to advance together. It's like that song goes. Don't walk in front of me because maybe I won't follow you. Don't walk in front of me because maybe I won't lead. Walk next to me and be my friend. So I teach them how to advance together in decision making. And this is an entire methodology. It takes me 5 days to teach people how to advance together. Because everyone starts this way, and when they finish, everyone agrees. And it's a very, how to say, established, well-built structure. Because what I discovered is that there's no mutual appreciation if you don't agree on the laws of the game. If there are no laws, then everything becomes one big mess. The smart thing is to develop the right rules for the game. This is what I put 50 years into. I have a book about it. How to correctly manage a team, work with a team, teamwork. I have many videos about these things, how to correctly build an organizational structure, how to correctly take decisions, how to correctly put the right people in the right positions, how to create a common vision, many videos. Are there nations that you feel that they are more inclined toward connection, toward the method that you teach, and those that are less, that it's hard to work with them, like Israelis, like you said? Look, I worked with 52 countries up until now. I think we have offices in more than 50 countries. The place where I failed and I really tried. Where? Here. Anyone who has circumcision thinks that that's it. He knows everything. You can't teach him anything. Dr. Laitman, how do you explain this? Up until now, I 100% agree with everything. How do I explain this? Jews, it's a special substance. It's above nature. And also the same with Jews in the diaspora. If I have a Jewish client, I invest twice as much time and patience because he can't agree. For him to agree, he really has to give birth in order to agree. It's very hard. He says, yes, but. And then you have to start anew. Yes, but. You have to start anew. With the nations of the world, it's easier. With non-Jews. Now, where does it work best? In what countries? I think in Russia. It's very interesting. In Russia, yeah. In Russia, I'm a bestseller. I'm on television. People stop me in the airport to sign. It's interesting. We have most of our students are from Russia. It's interesting. Why? My thing is that they were this way for so many years that once you give them the ability to be like that, I had this one team that we were working in, and this Russian engineer, he started crying, really crying. He says, this is what I was waiting for my entire life, to be able to talk. Because in Russia, when the CEO is there, no one talks. Silence. If someone disagrees, what do you mean you disagree? The authority is very strong, and this is something that we're changing, because this is not the role of the CEO. The CEO isn't this finger, he's this finger, the thumb. Why? Because it's the finger that connects everything. If you don't have a thumb, you don't have a hand. The role of the CEO is to integrate. In Russia, the entire management is like this. But do they feel that the old method no longer works, the hierarchy? They understand and they're looking for a solution. Medvedev, he invited me to his home for an hour and a half. He wrote an intro to my book. They're searching for a solution. For sure. But for them it's very hard. Putin, I feel that he's a prisoner. Why? Because if he'll become a Democrat, then, they'll get rid of him. They say that he's not strong. And the entire country is stuck that way. They want democracy, but they don't allow democracy to happen because they don't appreciate it. So we're trying to help. We're trying to help from below. The fish stinks from the head, but you clean it from the tail. In light of what you see, do you think that the Jewish people have a special role? In light of all the differences, the gaps, the difficulty in uniting them? Or maybe not. Maybe we have to be like everyone else. No, of course not like everyone else. It won't work. To the contrary. I think that what happened with Judaism especially is, let's be like all other nations. In my opinion, this is a great mistake. No. We're different. Different how? That our awareness of the need for the correction of the world is strongest. Who were those to rebel all the time? The Jews. But now it's working against us, because especially the American Jews are becoming anti-Israeli, because what we're doing with the Palestinians pains them. Their sense of justice is so strong that they feel that we're doing wrong. And I think that what's beautiful about Judaism, that we mustn't destroy. What concerns me is that Jews that live in Israel and Jews in the diaspora are separating. And this is something very wrong. We have a role, and our role is to be the conscience of the world. To be Jewish is to live with a conscience. So what does it mean to be light unto the nations? It's that we bring our conscience Who began the struggle for the blacks in the United States? The Jews. Those two rebel first are the Jews because their conscience is bothering them. So it's a Jew or a grandchild of a Jew, but it's something immersed in our genes. We have a very strong conscience, and this is also why we suffer here. We don't know what to do. If the correction of the world, as you say, is eventually an attaining love, achieving love, then the question is, how do we advance toward that? In doing. I have a very good friend here in Israel. He was Peres's doctor. He's married to his daughter. Suddenly I found out that he's the chairman of Physicians for Human Rights organization. 3,000 doctors, Jews and Arabs. Every Saturday they go to some Arab village to take care of the sick for free. They're the only ones allowed into Gaza to perform surgeries that can't be performed in any other way. For me, this is doing. This is love of others. This is what I believe in. He doesn't talk about it. He does. They do. What is it that you do? This is the question. Again, through doing.
No.
Meaning not to disseminate the method of correction itself, but the actions, the doing. Now, first of all, you have to have awareness. If you're not aware, you can't do anything. You start with the awareness. Afterwards, you realize this awareness, because the doing strengthens the awareness. If there's no doing, you're left in an empty box. You have to do something. Do something. To disseminate, great. Disseminate what? The awareness for doing. If we want to correct the world, let's start with cleaning the street. Let's do something. My clients in Mexico made it so that 1 million and something children went out to the streets to clean the streets of Mexico. Not talk, let's clean. And what did it correct that they cleaned the streets? That child that cleaned the street won't litter it. The child that cleaned the street will not litter it. For me, it's a correction. You know what? Let's not talk about big things. Let's clean the street. Let's clean the graffiti off the walls. Something. Do something. This is clear, this is tangible, this is practical, this is what you're saying. Yeah, something. Now, if you do this something together, then that's it. We're in the right direction. And you have thousands and thousands of people around the world. What can we do together? Let's start with small things until we start doing big things. What can we do together? You're talking about together. How can we be together, have a sense of belonging? By doing something together. Of course, disseminating the awareness, way to go. That's excellent, that's obvious, but it's not enough. Dr. Laitman, do you think that it suits an organization like ours that's actually engaged in teaching, in spreading the awareness? We try to find some kind of small things to do together, work together on something, even to make wine together, make boxes. We had this kind of inclination until we saw that it limits us. I'm not talking about making wine. I'm talking about doing for others. When you're making wine, it's let's make a business together. It's not about that. What are you doing for others? Volunteer for hospital work. Work with abused women. Get into politics not in order to get something out of it for yourself, but in order to really change the country. Something. Do something. Not money and... No, it's not about money. That's obvious. For example, in Israel, there are many elder, lonely people that it caused them depression and so on. You can take care of them, you can enliven them. Exactly. There was Mellinger, one of the fathers of psychotherapy. His book, The Principles of Psychotherapy, it says something very interesting. His students asked him, what do we do with someone who is depressed? He said he should go to a place where there are people that suffer and help them. This will help his depression. To take care of someone. Yeah. I also talked to some Buddhist guru, and his method is, if you have a problem, find someone who has the same problem, but that he's worse off, and help him solve his problem. By helping him solve his problem, you will help solve your own problem. By helping someone who has depression, you're helping yourself. You help yourself by helping others. Take care of the elderly, of the sick, of something, guys, something that fills your heart. We worked with prisoners in jail. It really helped them, gave them hope. Exactly. I don't know if this still exists. Back in high school here in Israel, we established this organization called Youth for Youth. I was one of the founders. What is that? Those that come from families that are privileged to help the youth that are not that privileged. I worked in a prison. I play the accordion. I used to teach them different Israeli songs, dances. And it filled my heart. I worked with immigrants that only came to Israel in the 50s. We brought them blankets and whatnot. During the Sinai War, we brought books to the youth and the hospitals, soldiers. What do? Each such group in the world should choose what they want, and they should share. What are we doing? What are they doing? And it's contagious, and it fills the heart. And suddenly, we implement our awareness. It really makes you feel this is something that we're missing now. And the connection that we're talking about now, and connecting all of our friends around the world, what we're missing is something to do. And this is also something that people understand. We're talking about a heartly connection, and you really have to do a lot until the heart opens. But even if the heart's deaf, first of all, I do, hoping that it will open, without expecting. Why in Judaism charity is anonymous. Once it's known who you are, you expect something in return. Once it's anonymous, suppose I received a kidney. A Jew gave you a kidney without knowing who he gave it to. That's true charity, because if he gave it and he knows who he gave it to, there are expectations. Take off the expectations. Give without expectation, the heart opens up, meaning without anything in return. What is life? You know? Take and give, right? What is love? The intention is to give. You don't give your child, I'll take you to the circus today, and I'm writing it down. I took you to the circus today. When I'll be old, you'll repay me. You give it to your child because you love him. You don't expect anything in return. Once you expect something from your children, alas, not to expect anything. They're free. You give them. That's the thing. No expectation. That's what that guru in the Himalaya taught me. Don't expect anything in return. No expectations. Give. Your reception is in the giving. This is what Buddhists say. Thank you for serving you. He has received by me allowing him to give me. That's the thing. It's interesting that in the wisdom of Kabbalah, what we study is that the Creator is love and bestowal. It's a force. Where do you get the strength to do it from? Fuel. The fuel for it. Where do you get it from? That's true. Look, the Guru in the Himalaya, he told me that love is a muscle. The more you use this muscle, the stronger it becomes. He says, you shut your heart during the Second World War. Do some small thing, then something bigger and bigger and bigger. Work on that muscle. You don't start with big things. You start with small things. Doesn't matter what. The smallest thing. It's a muscle. Simply a muscle that you have to develop. But where does the motivation come from? Why should a person do it? What will I get as a result? Excellent question. Will he have a better life after death, some kind of reward? What? I claim that everything that we do in life is in order to receive love and give love. When you have love, suddenly you're happy. Alas, if your wife doesn't love you, how painful it is. Or your child doesn't love you, how painful that is. Your neighbor doesn't love you. That's painful. We all want love because this leads to happiness. Happiness is in the love. You want to be happy? Integration. What is integration? Love. Now, don't have any expectations by trying to reach it. Give. It all comes back to you. When you give, you actually receive. When you take your children to the circus, you don't look at the circus. You look at how your kids laugh and how happy they are. This is what makes you happy. With children, it's natural, but with a stranger, it's true also with your wife. Right, in the family, it is. Keep going. It's correct also in regard to your dog. Love has no limits. Why put borders around yourself? You love your kids, your wife, your neighbor, the country, the trees that someone chopped down. Why stop love? Love is limitless. Start thinking that it's limitless. I'm an advisor to the Montenegro government. I told them, you're criminals. Look at the beautiful mountains that you have, and you build a road. You carve through the mountain. It seems like someone with a knife carved it. I told them, you're criminals. You don't love the mountain. And in New Zealand, there's a law that nature is a legal entity. This river is a legal entity. It can sue you for littering it. How? There's a group that represents, lawyers that represent that river. Now imagine that you can't touch the mountain or the river. They have rights, no less than you do. Let's start there. Let's start there. Why limit love? Love has to be limitless. How do you reach a state where it's unlimited? You start with loving your children, loving your wife. Now I love the neighbor. Now I love my city. I love my country. Now I love the stars. Why not? It evolves. Guys, love nourishes love. Dr. Laitman, I have to ask. It sounds very similar to the wisdom of Kabbalah, but not exactly. I want to hear how is it different. What's similar, we more or less understand. Still, what does Kabbalah add to this maybe? I try to love, I try to give, to bestow, to do everything. And I feel that I don't have the strength to do it. I don't. Muscular dystrophy. Internally, externally, what do? I hear what you say because I identify with you. I really identify with what you say. And Is there a trick? We need to be nourished. I'll tell you my story about an orphanage in Timbuktu. Every time that I reach a point where I'm out of strength and it's a difficult war to teach people, they fight, they disagree, they deviate, and every time anew, it wears you out. I remember this one person who helps me. I remember him, I take a deep breath, and I keep on going. It was in Atlanta, Georgia. I came to work with this one company. I changed the company. This vice president who had cancer, and he was given 6 months. He said, I don't want to sit at home, wait for my death. I'll work till the last day. At the end of this event, he said, Dr. Adizes, I want to take you to the airport. Well, the person is going to die in 6 months. Waste time on taking me to the airport. I can take a taxi. He says, no. I insist. I want to take you to the airport. Okay. It's his desire, so I listen. In the car, I ask him, why are you taking me to the airport? He says, look, I'm working in this company for 30 years. I wanted to change it. I couldn't. You are changing what I wanted to do. I can die in peace. He's Catholic. He said, I pray for you every Sunday in church. He's going to die. He's praying for me. I brought change. How many people did you change their life? This is what has to give you strength. This is what gives strength. What did you change? Did you help people change their life? Did you bring them to a better place? Did you not look for connection with the upper force? That all the strength actually comes from him? Dr. Laitman, I don't know if this is the right place to talk about this. Speak freely about everything. I was invited by 100 priests to lecture about what is God. Me, what do I know? During the Second World War, I hid in Albania as a Muslim child. I don't know anything about Judaism, by the way, and it really disturbs me. It helps you. No, it stands in my way. I came to Israel completely non-religious, non-Jewish. I know nothing about Jewish laws. I talk about God. I said, okay, I'll talk about him. The conclusion I came to, and I told them, I don't know how you'll see this. For me, God isn't someone sitting on a throne, looking down, saying, watch out. We're copying it from Greek gods or something. No. I use the analogy of high-tech. It's an operating system with rules. Yeah. Love another as yourself. The upper system, that this is how it sustains the world in love. Exactly. It's moral energy with constant rules. That's it. Fixed rules. Everything's based on that. It's synergy and symbiosis. Everything works that way. And therefore, God's in everything. I look at a tree, I see God. I look at the river, I see God. I look at a baby, I see God. God's everywhere. Why? Because these rules apply to everything. All of us are an application of that operating system. Different applications, but the same operating system. But to be connected with that source of good force that you understand, know, receive from, that you're nourished by, that you turn to in order to bring him to all the people in the world. You're right. This is something that I miss. I lack what a religious Jewish person that goes to the synagogue has that nourishes him. He doesn't have anything. If you connect, it nourishes you, on condition that you connect with him according to equivalence of form with him. The only method I found how to connect that unfortunately I'm not implementing is meditation. Meditation stops your thoughts. But the solution is not in the thought. The desire is the solution, or I didn't find the solution. I didn't. I understand what it is, but how do I connect to that without any expectations? For that, doing isn't enough. I need something to nourish me every time anew, so I didn't find it yet. But that too is a good attainment. Prayer doesn't help me. I go to the synagogue on holidays, it doesn't help me. You're not going to the right place. Where is the right place? Not among those that go to the synagogue. I agree. It has to be something completely different, and I still don't know what that is. I didn't find the place yet that suddenly fills me and elevates me. I give, but I don't. What nourishes me is the doing. When I see that I changed something, then yes. But sometimes, like you reach a state where you say that I don't have the strength to keep on going, and you need someone to give you the injection, and I don't have it. And if we talk about the entirely closed and integral system, and by trying to flow our forces of love and connection through it, will it not enliven itself in such a way that we will discover the general force of connection, which is the Creator? I believe so. Look, the Creator is not in you. It's between us. Yeah, between us, true. Now, how do we work together in order to reveal the Creator? By doing something for each other. That's where the wisdom is. But you're right, it's hard work. It's to lift really heavy weights, really. Sometimes I also lose my hope. Last week I almost had a crisis. I said, that's it, enough. I'm going to be like all old people. I'm going to read a newspaper, go to the ocean, and that's it. Enough. To work with people, it's not, what do the French say? The older I grow, the more I like dogs. They wag their tails. People, they bite all the time. It's hard. But you know what? It's not up to us. It's not your decision what you do. We are having a congress in a month and a half in Bulgaria. In Bulgaria. Bulgaria. You know, Bulgarians, not the Hungarians, that's something else. Bulgarians. And we're inviting all of our friends there. From all countries, especially from Europe. Well, probably there'll come people from Russia, from South America. I don't know how many people will come. But for sure, hundreds, even around 1,000 people. I don't know exactly how many. what would I ask you? What would we ask? At this Congress, we would actually like to feel as one, to really all of us become as one, above languages, above everything. How do we reach a connection above all differences, men, women, that we will feel that we're really all in one heart? I said that there are 4 components. The first, you have friends, volunteers. The human component exists. A common vision, probably you have disseminating love of others and so on. Probably there's also the process of how to take decisions, how to make decisions together. Well, here you can always improve. You can watch my videos, I'm sure that it can help. So you have that too. The structure, you have a structure. You're saying that in every country there are groups. We have a daily lesson that all of us connect to. Now, in my opinion, all the components exist, and we have to ask ourselves, okay, what do we do with it? This is what I would do as your agenda for this Congress. Okay, and now every group has to decide what they want to do. The vision is to serve others, right? Love another, meaning to love is to do. We all have the same vision. What do you do with it? You should choose. What do you do about it? How are you going to express this love? I can tell you. We want to connect with one another for 2 purposes. The one is in order for the upper force to be able to reveal himself among us, for love to be revealed among us, for the upper force to enjoy us, to receive contentment from us, so that by that we'll get the strength and the ability to bestow to the rest of the world, to all of mankind, so that they also will be able to join this kind of love. That love will be revealed among everyone. That's beautiful. One more step. I take one more step. How do you express the love? What is love? It's not enough to talk, but you have to do. What did you do today? What did you do today? If you didn't do anything, and you talk about love, then you talked about it. You taught others that they have to love. No, mister. You have to give a personal example. What did you do today? My wife really loves me, but she's killing me. So what kind of love is that? Thank you very much. Love me a bit less. It's like we ask you, what is connection? How is it expressed? Your students ask you all the time. Suppose we're connected. How can someone see that we're connected? The connection is in the common interest. We're not connected if we have no common interest. We have common interest for the world to know that there is a solution for all of its problems, which is the correct connection, and to advance toward that. Exactly. The correct connection is in correcting the world. Correcting meaning to do. This in itself is doing, that we help people see the correct connection, come closer to it, and realize it. It's here. It's not here. The here is in the doing. Here they understand. Okay, we understand. What do you do with what you understand? When you're saying to correct, what's corrupted? What do you want to correct? That the street's dirty and we clean it. Maybe what's corrupted is that we yell at each other. We decided that we won't yell at each other anymore. This connection that you have, that you know how to manage meetings, that's a start. We decided that we are going to have our meetings differently. That's doing. Continue. Take it from there. Continue. A long time ago, we wanted to do many things. We wanted to build a small city, to settle down someplace and make it as a role model, that it will give an example of corrected relationships. But for whom? Like I said, the analogy of the human body. The heart exists for the other organs, and so on and so forth. Everything exists for something else. There's a joke that I tell to explain this. There was a dispute in the human body. Who's most important? The brain said, I'm the most important part. I control the world. The heart said, really? If I stop, what are you going to do? The lungs said, wait a moment. If I stop, you stop. The hole in the butt says, wait a moment. I'm the most important part. They say, you. How are you important? He got mad, closed it for 2 weeks. They said, you are the most important thing in the world, that's it. Everything serves everything else. The last worker that doesn't know how to read and write is also important. If he's not important, what do you need him in the organization for? When we're talking about connection, we're talking about connection between all the parts. Let's see, how can I serve you? Not only how you serve me, also that last worker, how do I serve him? And how do you teach him, educate him to be the same, to do that too? By setting an example. I'm against the concept where there are companies that there's a special elevator for management with a special dining room for management and so on and so forth. This CEO never saw the last worker. I tell them, guys, cancel these elevators, go downstairs, eat with your workers. Eat with your workers. When was the last time you saw a worker? A general that doesn't go down to the pits is not a good general. Mister, you have to see your soldiers, see what's going on, feel them. Personal example. It wasn't just so that Jesus washed the feet of the messengers. He didn't say, I'm Jesus, you're the messengers. He washed their feet. Go to the pits. Set an example. I wash your feet. We're together. The connection is in the doing, again, in the doing. By setting an example. And in conclusion, what recommendation can you give us? That you'll have strength. Me. How old are you? I'm only 74, almost 74. You have at least 20 more years. I'm first of all really impressed with what you built here. Really. A big organization with the ability to influence. I'm really impressed. It's very impressive, inspiring. If this organization will start doing something together. That's how you change the world. By personal example, you can change the world. So you have a new goal, that you'll have the strength to do it. We'll try. We'll listen to this conversation again, and we'll get something good out of it for life. When can we see you here again? Come visit us. I come and go. Next year, I think. I'm here until the Day of Atonement, and then I leave. Where is your permanent residency? On the airplane. On the airplane. 50% of the time, I fly around the world. Even though that I'm 82 years old, I fly around. I'm going to visit 7 countries now. What? In Israel, people don't listen. That's the problem. I'd stay here happily, but people don't listen. And then you feel that you're wasting. So I say, let's be light unto the nations. We can't be light unto the Jews. Let's at least be light unto the nations. Dr. Laitman, can you conclude your impression? I'm very impressed with this person, that without the wisdom of Kabbalah, without teachers that really took care of him and raised him, it's possible to say that by his own efforts, he reached such conclusions, understandings, that it's really possible to say that were the other people. I met many very smart people, and as if enlightened people, if one might say so, but with such a very clear approach, so close to the wisdom of Kabbalah, practically. No. It's a phenomenon. You're a phenomenon. We do know how to appreciate this. We'll keep in touch, because if we're so close in intention, then I would also like to learn from you. This connection that you're talking about with the Creator, this is something that I don't know how to do, and I'd really be happy to get there. Do you read Hebrew? I'm a graduate of the Hebrew University in Jerusalem. We prepared books for you. You'll have something to read on your way. I also sent you my books. Unfortunately, only 3 of my books, I have 26 books, only 3 of them were translated into Hebrew. And also you can't find them. So I'll send it to you in English. But I have many videos. Yeah, better on the internet. I have at least 100 videos on YouTube. You'll have a lot what to see. Thank you very much. Professor Adizes, thank you very much. Really, we got a present. Thank you. We got a present.